ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
To the Mangalacharan prayers all together. ॐ
ओम
अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य
अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य
ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया
ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया
चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन
चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन
तस्मै
तस्मै
श्रीगुरवे
श्री
नमः।
गुरवे नमः। चैतन्य
श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं
मनोभीष्टं
स्थापितं
स्थापितं
येन
येन
भूतले
भूतले
स्वयं
स्वयं
रूपः
रूपः कदा
कदा
मह्यं
मह्यं ददाति
ददाति
स्वपदान्तिकम्।
स्वपदान्तिकम्।
वन्देऽहं
वन्देऽहं
श्रीगुरोः
श्रीगुरो
श्रीयुतपदकमलं
श्रीयुतपदकमलं
श्रीगुरुं
श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च
वैष्णवांश्च
श्रीरूपं
श्रीरूपं
साग्रजातं
साग्रजातं
सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं
शिवं
साद्वैतं
साद्वैतं
सावधूतं
सावधूतं
परिजनसहितं
परिजनसहितं
कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं
कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा
श्रीराधाकृष्णपादां
कृष्णपादा
सहगण ललिता
ललिता
श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च।
श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण
हे कृष्ण
करुणा
करुणा
सिन्धु
सिंधो
दीनबन्धो
दीनबन्धो
जगत्पते
जगत्पते गोपेश
गोपेश
गोपिकान्त
गोपिकान्त
राधाकान्त
राधाकान्त
नमोस्तुते।
नमोस्तुते। तप्त
तप्त
काञ्चन
काञ्चन
गौराङ्गी
गौराङ्गी राधे
राधे
वृन्दावनेश्वरी
वृन्दावनेश्वरी
वृषभानुसुते देवी
वृषभानुसुते प्रणमामि
प्रणमामि
हरिप्रिये।
हरिप्रिये।
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च
कृपा
कृपा
सिन्धुभ्य
सिन्धुभ्य
एव
एव
च
च
पतितानां
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो
पावनेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो
नमो नमः।
नमो
नमः ॐ
विष्णुपादाय
विष्णुपादाय
कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय
कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले
भूतले
श्रीमते
श्रीमते
भक्तिवेदान्त
भक्तिवेदान्त
स्वामिने
स्वामिने
नामिने
नामिने।
नमस्ते
नमस्ते
सारस्वते
सरस्वते
देवे
देवे गौरवाणी
गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे
प्रचारिणे
निर्विशेष
निर्विशेष
शून्यवादी
शून्यवादी
पाश्चात्य
पाश्चात्य
देशतारिणे।
देशतारिणे।
जय
जय
श्री
श्री
कृष्ण चैतन्य
चैतन्य प्रभु
प्रभु नित्यानंद
नित्यानंद
श्री
श्री
अद्वैत
अद्वैत
गदाधर श्रीवास
श्रीवासादि
आदि गौर भक्त
गौरभक्त
वृंद।
वृंदा। हरे
हरे
कृष्णा
हरे
कृष्णा
कृष्ण
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 कृष्णा
हरे हरे
हरे हरे
हरे
हरे
राम
राम हरे
राम
राम
राम हरे
राम
हरे।
हरे हरे। श्री कृष्ण भगवान की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। महाप्रभु की जय। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
So, Prabhuji, we are going to discuss the last shloka of ninth chapter today, which is one of the very beautiful chapters. And this shloka actually is very important, very, very important, to be honest. And this is right in the middle of Bhagavad Gita, at the end of ninth chapter. Yes, as we all know, Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters. And if we divide into two, 9 chapters each, and at the end of 9 chapter, so this shloka comes for the first time. So this is considered as the most precious gem of Bhagavad Gita. And it is again repeated in 18th chapter because Krishna wants to give emphasis on this message or instruction. And this he also calls as the most confidential knowledge of Bhagavad Gita or most confidential instruction. So let's recite this and yeah. Man-manā bhava mad-bhakto
मन्मना भव मद्भक्तो
mad-yājī मां namaskuru
मद्याजी मां नमस्कुरु
मामे वैश्यसि युक्त्वैवम्
मामे वैश्यसि युक्त्वैत्वम्
ātmānaṁ mat-parāyaṇaḥ।
आत्मानं मत्परायणम्।
Man-manā bhava mad-bhakto
मन्मना भव मद्भक्तो
mad-yājī मां namaskuru
मद्याजी मां नमस्कुरु।
evaiṣyasi yuktvaivam.
मामेवैष्यसि युक्त्वैवम्
ātmānaṁ mat-parāyaṇaḥ.
ātmānaṁ mat-parāyaṇaḥ.
So, Chandrakant Prabhu, you want to recite?
man-manā bhava mad-bhakto
man-manā bhava
mad-bhakto.
mad-yājī mam namaskuru.
mad-yājī namaskuru.
मामेवैष्यसि युक्त्वैवम्
evaiṣyasi yuktvaivam.
ātmānaṁ mat-parāyaṇaḥ.
ātmānaṁ mat-parāyaṇaḥ. Sunil Prabhu, you want to recite?
man-manā bhava mad-bhakto
man-manā bhava mad-bhakto
mad-yājī mam namaskuru
mad-yājī mam namaskuru.
māmevaiṣyasi yuktvaivam
मामेवैष्यसि युक्त्वैवम्
ātmānaṁ mat-parāyaṇaḥ.
ātmānaṁ mat-parāyaṇaḥ.
Thank you, Pujis. So, word for word meaning mat-manā, which is combined becomes man-manā, means always thinking of me. So, this is Krishna is telling to Arjuna. Bhava means become. Mat means my. Bhaktaha means devotee. Mat means my. Yājī means worshipper. Mam means unto me. Namaskuru means offer your obeisances. Mala namaskar kar. Mam means unto me. Eva means completely. Evaiṣyasi means you will come. Yuktva means being absorbed. Evam means thus. ātmānaṁ means you as a person or your soul. mat-parāyaṇaḥ means devoted to me, when you completely become devoted to me. So here what Krishna is saying is, engage your mind always in thinking of me. man-manā. Man-manā means always think of me. Engage your mind in always thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer obeisances to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. Evaiṣyasi, you will come back to me surely when you become mat-parāyaṇaḥ, become my devotee. When your every activity becomes devoted to me. And then there are 4 activities he gives in this verse particularly. Man-manā means think of me always time in your mind. Bhava mad-bhakto, become my devotee. Then mad-yājī, yaja dhatu, yajanti. Yaja means worship. Yajan, yajan, pathan, pathan, dana, pratigraha. These are the 4 duties of a Brahmana. Shat karma nipuna vipro. So yajan is one of that, worship. So mad, whose worship? Mad means माझी पूजा अर्चा कर, मला worship कर. And then mam namaskuru, मला namaskar kar. By doing this and by becoming mat-parāyaṇaḥ, becoming my devotee, what will happen? You will come back to me, because right now you are suffering in this material world without you knowing. Even though you do not accept, but the life here in this material world is suffering, so you will come back to me. So that's why this verse is called the most confidential instruction, and it is the what we started in the second section of Bhagavad Gita. The first section broadly classified as Karma Yoga. The second section from 7th chapter to 12th chapter, the second 6 chapters is Bhakti Yoga, and then the last 6 chapters is Jnana Yoga. So this is right in the middle of Bhakti Yoga, and this is, if Bhagavad Gita is considered as a treasure box, it is the most confidential part right in the middle. So this is most important instruction of Krishna. So let's read the purport and then we can quickly go over the chapter, summarize the chapter and then discuss this. Kiran Prabhu, you want to read the first 2 paragraphs of purport?
Sure, Prabhuji. Purport. In this verse, it is clearly indicated that Krishna consciousness is the only means of being delivered from the clutches of this contaminated material world. Sometimes unscrupulous commentators distort the meaning of what is clearly stated here, that all devotional service should be offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Unfortunately, unscrupulous commentators divert the mind of the reader to that which is not at all feasible. Such commentators do not know that there is no difference between Krishna's mind and Krishna. Krishna is not an ordinary human being. He is absolute truth. His body, his mind, and he himself are one and absolute. It is stated in the Kurma Purana, as it is quoted by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami in his Anubhasha comments on Chaitanya Charitramrita, 5th chapter, Adi Leela, verse 41 to 48. Deha Dehi Vibedo Yena Nesware Vidyate Kvachit. This means that there is no difference in Krishna, the Supreme Lord, between himself and his body. But because the commentators do not know this science of Krishna, they hide Krishna and divide his personality from his mind or from his body. Although this is sheer ignorance of the science of Krishna, some men make profit out of misleading people. There are some who are demonic. They also think of Krishna, but enviously, just like King Krishna. Krishna's uncle,
Kamsa. Kansa.
Kansa. Okay, King Kansa, Krishna's uncle. He was also thinking of Krishna always, but he thought of Krishna as his enemy. He was always in anxiety, wondering when Krishna would come to kill him. That kind of thinking will not help us. One should be thinking of Krishna in devotional love. This is bhakti. One should cultivate the knowledge of Krishna continuously. What is the favorable cultivation? It is to learn from a bona fide teacher. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we have several times explained that his body is not material, but is eternal blissful knowledge. This kind of talk about Krishna will help one become a devotee. Understanding Krishna otherwise from the wrong source will prove fruitless.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah.
You can finish the purport.
Yeah. One should therefore engage his mind in the eternal form, the primal form of Krishna, with conviction in his heart that Krishna is supreme. He should engage himself in worship. There are hundreds of thousands of temples in India for the worship of Krishna, and devotional services practiced there. When such practice is made, one has to offer obeisances to Krishna. One should lower his head before the deity and engage his mind, his body, and his activities, everything that will make one fully absorbed in Krishna without deviation. This will help one transport to Krishna Loka. One should not be deviated by unscrupulous commentators. One must engage in the 9 different processes of devotional service, beginning with the hearing and chanting about Krishna, pure devotional service is the highest achievement of human society. The seventh and eighth chapters of Bhagavad Gita have explained pure devotional service to the Lord that is free from speculative knowledge, mystic yoga, and fruitive activities. Those who are not purely sanctified may be attracted by different features of the Lord, like the impersonal Brahma Jyotir and localized Paramatma. But a pure devotee directly takes to the service of the Supreme Lord. There is a beautiful poem about Krishna in which it is clearly stated that any person who is engaged in the worship of demigods is most intelligent and most unintelligent and cannot achieve at any time the supreme award of Krishna. The devotee in the beginning may sometimes fall from the standard, okay, but still he should be considered superior to all other philosophers and yogis. One who always engages in Krishna consciousness should be understood to be a perfectly saintly person. His accidental, non-devotional activities will diminish, and he will soon be situated without any doubt in complete perfection. The pure devotee has no actual chance to fall down because the Supreme Godhead personally takes care of his pure devotees. Therefore, the intelligent person should take directly to the process of Krishna consciousness and happily live in this material world. He will eventually receive the supreme award of Krishna. Okay. Thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purports to the 9th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of the most confidential knowledge.
Thank you so much, Ramesh. So let's go back to the beginning of this chapter and see how we started. So let me go to the top and let's open only translation and purport. So the title of this chapter is Raja Vidya Raj Guhya Yoga. That's very, very heavy. Raja Vidya means it is king of all the knowledges. Once we know this, once we get this knowledge, there is nothing else that remains to be known, that Krishna said in the 7th chapter in the beginning. And this is at the same time, this is the most confidential knowledge, Raja Guhyam. And one may ask them, if it is easily available to anyone and anyone can read this, how can this be most confidential knowledge? But it is not available freely, even though this book, Bhagavad Gita, is easily available. The knowledge inside the book is not easily available or not revealed to everyone, because there are certain qualifications described in the Bhagavad Gita itself. Krishna says that this knowledge has to be received in parampara, from that is coming from him. Krishna says in the 4th chapter, we read that he gave this knowledge. Imam vivasvate yogam proktavan aham avyayam vivasvan manave praha manurikshvakave bravit. That this knowledge, this science of Krishna consciousness or this yoga system, I had given first to sun god Vivasvan. Vivasvan gave it to his son Manu, and then he in turn gave it to Ikshvaku. So in Ikshvaku dynasty, Ramchandra appeared. And then that's how this knowledge was received in evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo vidu. This knowledge was received in Guru Shishya parampara, and it is received by the great sages or saintly kings, Raja Rishi. And then, but sakale neha mahata yogo nashta parantapa. But over a period of time, because time destroys everything eventually, this knowledge seems to have been lost. And that's why Krishna tells that sa evaiṣyasi tebda yoga prokta puratana. Why? Bhakto sime sakhacha iti hyetad rahasyam uttamam. Because I am giving that same knowledge to you, Arjuna, because bhaktosi, you are my devotee, and sakha, you are my friend. So the first qualification is a person who can understand Bhagavad Gita, he has to be devotee of Krishna. And there are different rasas that we discussed some time ago. That a devotee can be in. There are 5 primary rasa. Rasa means in mellows in which one can develop relationship or one can do bhakti of Krishna, and those are, one can be neutral, a devotee in a neutral state, or that is called bhakta in a shanta ras. Then somebody in a servitor attitude, dasya ras. So Hanumanji is the best example of dasya ras. He is the epitome of dasya ras. And then sakhya ras is just like Arjuna, who is friendship with Krishna in a friendship way. Sakhya. Then higher than that is vatsalya ras, where a devotee wants to be a parent of Krishna, just like Vasudeva or Devaki or Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj. So they wanted to protect Krishna because they want to have that relationship with God himself as a father-child relationship. They want to be father or mother of God. So can anybody be father or mother? No, it is not possible because he is our supreme father. But when one wants to have that affection or loving relationship with Vatsalya ras to Krishna, then he accepts them as his parents. And then higher than that is the Madhurya ras, all the gopis and Radharani. So these are the different rasas. So Arjuna is in Sakhya ras. So bhaktosi me sakha chaiti. And that's why rahasyam hi etad uttamam. That's why you can understand this best knowledge, which is the most confidential, rahasyam. And here also in the beginning of this chapter, he says that idam tu te guhyatamam. Guhyatamam means most confidential. Just like, so there is something as guhya. Guhya means secret. Then guhyatara means superior secret than the secret. And then guhyatama is superlative degree. Just like we said that something is good or something is better than that and something is the best. So this is guhyatamam, means the highest, most confidential knowledge. Pravakshami anasuyave, I am giving to you. And it is also knowledge, the realized knowledge as well as the theoretical knowledge, the practical knowledge. By knowing you, you will be completely freed from all the ashubha. So the divisions of this chapter is the first 3 verses, Krishna gives the glories of this knowledge. So here he says that this is Guhyatamam, and then he immediately declares that this is Rajavidya. This is the king of all knowledge and king of all the secrets, Rajaguhyam. And at the same time, it is Pavitram. It is the most pure knowledge. And Uttamam. Uttamam means, so Uttama is actually word that is sandhi of Udgata Tama iti Uttama. Tama is Andhakar. Andhakar means ignorance or darkness of knowledge. So something beyond the darkness of this material knowledge, that is Uttamam. So this is this knowledge, and this knowledge can also be Pratyaksha Avagamam Dharmyam. This can be realized by experience. It is not just theory, but when you try to apply this, you will realize this and practically experience this. And it can also be performed simultaneously. And when you are performing, it gives you susukham. Susukham kartum, and at the same time, it is avyayam, which is imperishable. ज्याचा कधी व्यय होत नाही ते अव्ययम. And then he says that ashraddhana purusha, but for a person who does not have faith in words of these instructions given by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, ashraddhana purusha dharmasya asya. So dharma given or the knowledge given in this Bhagavad Gita, O Parantapa, aprapyamam, he doesn't come back to me in the spiritual world. Then what happens to him? Nivartante, he returns back. Mrityu samsara vartmani, he comes back again in this cycle of birth and death, and his goal is only repeated birth and death and cycle. So this is the glory. In the first 3 verses, he glorifies the knowledge itself. Then from the 4th verse, he gives how he is attached or how he is manifested in this material world, or how this whole world is, how he's entered in this material world, but at the same time he's aloof from this material world. So that's what in the next few verses, up to 10 verses, he glorifies or he explains about. So here he says, the maya tatamidam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina, that this whole world is in me, but I'm not in them. So he has entered in this material world through his energy, and it is also in him, but he's not part of this material creation. So he's not bound by the laws of this material nature. Rather, he is the creator of the laws of this material nature, and under his direction, this whole material creation is working. Because people generally ask this question, who do not understand the concept of God, who God is or who Krishna is. So they always think that, oh, if God created everything, who created God? So that's the general atheistic type of question people ask, because they don't understand that there is Krishna says in the beginning, before even creation, I existed. During creation, I am the one who sustain and maintain this. And after creation, everything is annihilated. After annihilation, when everything is annihilated, I am the one who remains, the only one. So nobody has to create God. But because their understanding is based on their limited experience, they think that, oh, even God somebody created, or it is just mental concoction that somebody created, or it is just our thought that we created God so that we can fear something. But when we learn from these scriptures and when we start contemplating on this, we understand this. So in the next, from 4th verse to 10th verse, he gives all the symptoms, how, or all the examples, how he's all pervading in all nature. So here he says, the yathakasha sthito nityam vayu sarvatra gomahan. Just like in space, air is everywhere, tatha sarvani bhutani masthani tyupadare. Just in the same way, I am spread all over through my energy. And then he concludes that maya dekshane prakriti suyate sacharacharam. So this group of verses from 4 to 10, he concludes that this whole material world or material creation, which is also one of his prakriti, which is we generally called as prakriti or nature, material nature, which is working how maya adhyakshena, under my control. I am the one who is controlling. So the nature is not independently working. Nature is not independently functioning. Suyate sacharacharam. So this nature, which is made up of char and achara, there are moving and non-moving entities. Hetunanena kaunte jagat viparvartate. And this is created and annihilated again and again. Then in the next few verses, from 11th to about, I think, 25th or so, he gives description of different people, how they perceive Krishna, or how they relate to Krishna, or how. So there can be, some are atheists, non-devotees, there are devotees, but devotees also in different category. Somebody who doesn't understand Krishna as a person, then they worship the whole nature as God, or somebody will understand only the Brahma Jyoti as God, or somebody will understand Paramatma as God. So how they perceive God in different ways. So they are different devotees of the God. And then eventually he says that the destination of people who worship in what way, what is their destination. So first he describes avajananti mam mudha manushim tatumashritam. Avajananti mam mudha. Mudha means murkha. Murkha means one who is unintelligent, or Prabhupada directly calls them rascals. They don't accept God. So they deride him. Avajananti. They say name to Krishna, oh, who is just a person who is dancing with gopis, or he's just some great historic personality. He's not God or anything. So avajananti, they deride me when I come in my original human-like form. Manushim tanum ashritam. Param bhavam ajananto, because they do not understand my superior nature. param bhavam ajananta, and that form is like mama bhutam maheshwaram. So they do not know that I am the Lord of all the living entities, and that's why they deride me. They don't accept me as God. And then he gives different types of people who worship him. Moghasha, Mogha Karmano. So some are bewildered, they are attracted by demonic nature and atheistic. But what happens to them? All the plans they try to fulfill in this material world will all fail. Mogha Asha. Mogha means failure. Asha, their Asha is Mogha, all fail, everything fails. Their karma is also Mogha. Karmano, Moga Jnana. Their Jnana is also Moga, means it will also be eventually be a failure. So everything is in a way failure for them. Moga Asha, Moga Karmano, Moga Jnana. Why? Because Rakshasim Asurim Chaiva Prakrutim Mohinim Shita. Because they have taken shelter of nature, which is Rakshasri and Asuri, which is exploitation of everything. That's the Rakshasi nature. That's the Asuri bhav, that I want to enjoy at any cost. I don't care for God. I don't care for anyone at any cost. If even if anybody suffers or anything, I will try to enjoy to the fullest extent. I am the king. And this we will know more in the 16th chapter, Daivi Asuri Sampada Vibhaga Yoga. But Mahatmas, who are called Mahatma, so these are people who they take Mohini Prakriti Ashrita. But Mahatma, what do? Mahatma, they also take shelter of Prakriti, but that is Daivi Prakriti. They take shelter of the spiritual nature. And what do? Bhajanti Ananya Manaso. They always do Maya Bhajan, Ananya Bhavani. Jnatva Bhutadim Avyam, knowing that I am the origin of all the Bhuta, Bhuta Adi. I am the origin of all the living entities and I am aware. And then he goes on further continuing, and their nature also he gives. What do their devotees do? What do the Mahatmas do? Satatam kirtayanto mam. They always do kirtan of whom? Mam. My kirtan, not anybody else's kirtan. Satatam kirtayanto mam. Yatantascha drudavrata, and with whole determination. Namasyantascha. They always offer obeisances or namaskar to whom? Again, mam, with devotion, with bhakti. And nitya yukta, always nitya. They are always engaged in my thought or my upasana. Nitya yukta upasate. So he goes on further, and then he gives the description of different types of devotees and how they engage in different types of activities. And he also gives how he is the superior or supreme of everything. So from 16 onwards, he says, I am everything. Again, he gives, I am aham kratur, aham yajna, swadaham, aham aushadam. So I am actually everything. So when you see everything here, that is actually me or my energy. So by you are supposed to use that only in my service. So Pita Ahamasya Jagato, then again he is giving his opulences, that he is the father of everything, he is the mother, or he is the sustainer, or even the grandsire of everything. Vedyam, know me that I am also the Pavitram Omkara, or all the Vedas that also I am. So that's how he explains everything. And then he gives also further that people who engage in some Vedic, following the Vedic culture, they engage in some karma kanda activities, punya. So what happens to them? They go to Swarga Loka. But even the Swarga is actually in the material world. That doesn't free us from the entangle of birth and death. So they go to Swarga Loka, and where they enjoy the Sukha in Indra Loka, Sura Indra Loka, they enjoy lots of happiness and opulence. But eventually, Tetam Bhuktva Swarga Lokam Vishalam, Kshine Punne Martya Lokam Vishanti, where when their pious activity, the balance of karma of pious activity is over, Kshina Punya, त्यांचं पुण्य जेव्हा क्षीण होतं, they come back again to then Martya Loka. And Thus evam trai dharmam anuprapanna gatagatam kama kama labhante. So thus they are going up and down, up and down, up and down, gata agata. So they go to Swarga Loka, Narak, Prithvi Loka, and everywhere. They are just going everywhere. And they sometimes engage in some desire and enjoy some desire, some miseries. But Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate. One who is always thinks of me and who is engaged in my devotee. Tesham, to them, nityabhiyuktanam, one who is in abhiyukta of my devotion. Tesham, to them, what does Krishna say? Yoga kshemam vahami aham. I take care of them completely. I give them what they lack and I protect what they have. Yoga kshemam. Further, he says that, but then somebody may say, oh, there are other devatas also. What happens? Somebody worship them. So he says that yepi anya devata bhakta, even if somebody worships other devatas, yajante shraddhayanvita, त्यांची पूजा श्रद्धापूर्वक करतात. ते अपि, they also, mameva kaunteya yajante. They are ultimately actually worshipping me only. But avidhi purvakam, they are doing this in wrong way, because worship or bhakti is only to be offered or performed for Bhagavan, and there is only one Bhagavan, Krishna. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So itar devata हे त्याचे representatives आहेत, and they are created so that they can maintain the affairs, they can run the different departments in these universal affairs. But they are also powerful person, but they are working under control of Krishna. So when we are worshipping them, we are also ultimately worshipping Krishna, not knowing that Krishna is supreme. So that's why it is called the avidhi purvakam. Why he says that? Because aham hi sarva yajnanam bhokta cha prabhudevacha. I am the one who is the enjoyer, bhokta, and Prabhu, Lord of all the yajna, sarva yajna. So whatever types of yajna, of different work, any work we perform is basically a form of yajna or sacrifice. So that he is the supreme enjoyer, but natumam abhijananti, one who does not know this me, how tatvena, completely, what happens to them? Chavantite, they fall down again in this material world and in the cycle of birth and death. And then he gives that yanti devavrata, one who worships devatas, they go to Devaloka, they go to different planets in that devas, means the devatas in the Swarga Loka. Pitrun yanti pitruvata, or somebody they worship Pitras, so they go to their Pitara planet, different planetary system that is called Pitras. Bhutani yanti bhuteja, or one who worships other living entities or ghostly beings, then they go to that particular type of form. But mad-yājī pimam, yanti madhya jinopimam, but one who worships me, mad-yājī, yaja dhatu, again he comes. One who worships me, they come to me and they don't have to come back again in this material world. So up to here, he gives different types of worships and worshippers, or different types of people, starting with atheist, avajananti mamuda, and then different types of devotees, and then devotees of the devatas also he describes. Then from here, he starts glorification of bhakti, from 26th verse to the last verse that we read today. So here he starts glorifying his bhakti, how bhakti is the greatest thing in this material world, and that has to be performed. It is the highest goal of human form of life, and it is very easy. He says, patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati. One doesn't have to be very rich or very strong or very opulent or very nice to offer or perform bhakti. Even if you give me a patram, a leaf, a tulsi leaf probably, pushpam, a flower, phalam, some kind of fruit, or toyam, even water or milk. So this is easily available to even a poor person, right? Yome bhaktya prayachati. But what is the key? The most important ingredient in offering something to Krishna is bhakti. When one offers that with bhakti, then Tadaham bhakti uparutam. Now here in this verse, the bhakti word comes in first line as well as the second line. So bhakti is given very emphasis. Tadaham bhakti uparutam. When thus something offered with bhakti to me, ashnami, I accept that. I will accept it. And then he goes on further saying that everything, whatever you do, there are so many things you are doing in this material world. You cannot stop doing something. You have to do something in this material world. You have to think or work or do something or speak. We are working in three ways: kaya, vacha, manasa. We are always working through our physical activity, or by speaking also we are doing work, or by thinking in mind also we are doing work. So by everything, what he says that yat karoshi yad ashnasi yad juhoshi dadasi, yat, different types of activities, whatever you are doing. Yat karoshi, the activity you are doing. Ashnasi, the eating, what you are eating. Yat juhoshi, any worship you are doing. Or dadasi, any charity you are doing. Or yat tapasyasi, or you are engaged in some kind of austerity, tapa. O Kaunteya, tat kurushva mad arpanam. Everything you should do as an offering to me. Krishna arpanamastu, everything. Why is Krishna beggar? He is asking for everything. No, this is for our purification. So he says that by doing that, you will be freed from all the pious as well as impious activities. Shubha ashubha phala. Shubha ashubha phala evam mokshase. You will karma bandhane. You will be freed. You will get moksha from both shubha as well as ashubha type of karma bandhan. So one may think that, oh, ashubha I understand, but why shubha also is karma bandhan? If I am accumulating punya, everybody says here, right? Oh, I should do punya. But here he says that, oh, you will be freed from punya also, both pap and punya. So why should I get freed from punya? Because punya is also a bandhan. To experience or to get the results of that punya, I have to take birth again in this material world. And birth in this material world comes with all the problems and miseries. It's not only just the result of punya, it comes with all the four primary problems. What would we have? Janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi. It doesn't matter what type of opulent life we get, what type of opulent birth we get, we are never free from these four primary problems and three miseries: adhyatmik, adibhautik, and adidaivik. Adhyatmik means self-inflicted by my body and mind. Whatever miseries I am experiencing, I am having headache, or I broke my finger, or I broke my leg, I am experiencing pain for that. That is adhyatmik. Then adibhautik is given by other living entities. Even a mosquito can bother me. A living entity is small, so tiny as a bug, as a bed bug or mosquito, which gives me trouble. Forget about all the enemies or other people. They are always giving us trouble. So misery is caused by other living entities. And Adi-Daivik is our supernatural miseries given by devatas. Even though we don't accept devatas, those miseries come, like earthquake, tsunami, forest fire, famine, or too much rain. All these type are called natural disasters. Daivi. So those are miseries caused by Adi-Daivik. So all these, everybody is inflicted by those miseries. It doesn't matter he has Shubha or Ashubha Phala. So he says that by offering everything to me, you will be freed from both Shubha and Ashubha Phala. Moksha se, sannyasa yoga yuktatma vimukto, and you will be mukta and mam obeisances. Come back to me. Here, now here he everywhere is saying that come back to me, you will come to me. Why? Because that is our real home. We belong to spiritual world. We are forced to live here and take different bodies because we are rebellious in nature and we are envious of Krishna. Ichha dvesha samuthena. We have a desire to enjoy. That's what ichha we have. And dvesha, We are envious of Krishna and everyone else. I am the only one want to enjoy. I don't care for anyone else. But that's not my original swadharma. My original nature is Jevera Swarupa hai Krishnera Nitya Dasa. That's our eternal relationship. Krishna is master, we are servitor. And when we want to rebel from that relationship, then we are given this opportunity to enjoy in this material world. So you will be freed from all this. And then he further gives different gradations that he is equal to everyone. Api chesu duracharo, samoham sarva bhuteshu. So here he builds up on the devotional service. Then is devotional service limited to somebody? No, he says that even somebody is api chesu durachara, even if somebody is durachare, but one who worships me, he is to be considered as sadhu. Sadhureva samantavya. Because samyak vyavasato hisa, because he is situated in his original real nature. He knows what he is supposed to do and he is engaged in that activity. He may be doing some bad activities because of old habits, but he should still be considered as sadhu. Because kshipram, he will immediately become dharmatma. Kshipram bhavati dharmatma, shashvat shantim nigacchati. Kaunteya, pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Hey Kaunteya, declare it boldly. Pratijanihi. What? Name bhakta pranashyati. Guarantee Krishna gives. My devotee never perishes. माझ्या डिवोटीचा कधीच विनाश होत नाही. He never name bhakta pranashyati. त्याचा कधीच नाश होत नाही. And then we learned that Mam hi parthavya pashtitya shriyo vaishyastata shudras. So is it limited bhakti is available to only certain group or certain people or no? He says everyone, anybody can get bhakti and anybody can get free from this and he can attain paragati. Param means supreme gati or supreme destination. Be it from material perspective, there may be different gradations in the society. Somebody may say that, oh, Sriya are lower, or Vaishya, or Shudra, or Papa Yoni, somebody who are not even following the Vedic culture or not even following Varnashram Dharma. So they are called Papa Yoni. Or even they can attain Paramgati. So what to say about somebody who are born in a Brahmana family or Punyavan family or Bhakta or Rajarshi? So everybody can get freed and can get the highest destination, that is the spiritual world, and they will be freed from this anityam and asukham lokam. So this world is anitya. It is not false, but it is temporary. So this is temporary, and asukham, which is full, the place full of miseries. Asukham, where we are unfortunately finding sukha here. We are searching a right thing in a wrong place. We are searching for happiness and sukh, yes, because that is our real nature. But we are searching for that in a wrong place, because this world is dukkhalayam ashashvatam or anityam asukham lokam. So you will be freed from that and prapya bhajaswamam. You will come back to me. And then today what he is saying is final instruction. That's why you should man-manā, always think of me in your mind. Bhava mad-bhakto, become my devotee. Mad-yājī, worship me. Mam namaskuru, mala namaskar kar. Then by doing this, mam evaiṣyasi, you will come back to your real home, your spiritual abode. That's where you belong to. Yuktvaivam mat-parāyaṇaḥ. You will, when you engage in my devotional service, and become mat-parāyaṇaḥ. So that's a whole summary of this 9th chapter. Beautiful chapter, actually. And then some points from the purport we can touch. Basically, this verse clearly indicated that Krishna consciousness is the only means to deliver from the clutches of Maya or this contaminated material world. It's the only way. Krishna consciousness, bhakti of Krishna, is the only way to get out of this material world. And then here bhakti is defined here. He gives an example. So bhakti, the definition of bhakti that is given in Narada Pancharatra message. Rajesh Prabhu has to leave. Thank you, Prabhu. So the definition of bhakti in Narada Pancharatra is given. Sarvopadhi vinarmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhaktir uchyate. Sarva upadhi. So here we are living with different upadhis, and those are all bodily designations. Because I am born in a certain family, I call myself certain way. I call myself Hindu, Muslim, or Christian, or Brahman, or Patil, or whatever different ways. Or because I am born in a certain country, I relate to that country and I call myself as Indian or Russian or American or Pakistani or something. But these are all bodily designations. These are all upadhis associated to the body. But I am not this body. So when one is free from all these designations, sarva upadhi vinirmuktam, and by freeing himself from upadhis, he becomes purified. Tatparatvena nirmalam. Nirmala. Mala means contamination. Nirmala means free from contamination. All these contaminations, all different things. So, and in that way, when one becomes free from all contamination, rishikena rishikesha sevanam. Rishika means senses, indriya. Rishikena, when I engage all my senses, all my dashendriya, 10 senses, 5 karmendriya, 5 jnanendriya, and including mind, 11 indriyas. When I engage everything in seva of who? Rishikesha, Rishika Isha. So who is the original controller of? Isha means controller. Isha, controller of senses, controller of indriyas. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam. That is what is called bhakti. So bhakti is not like a neutral process that, oh, I am not doing anything and I am calling myself as bhakta. No, bhakti has engagement. Bhakti is actually using our senses for the right purpose. That is what is bhakti. And that is seva of Krishna. So that is definition of bhakti. And eventually it says that here example of Kamsa is given. So one should think of man-manā. Krishna says that man-manā. So always think of me. So one may ask that, oh, Kamsa is also, Kamsa, his uncle, he was also always thinking of Krishna. So is he a devotee? So he is Krishna conscious, yes, but he is not a devotee. He is not Krishna conscious favorably. He is Krishna conscious unfavorably or unfavorably. So he is always thinking of Krishna with fear or with enmity, with inimical relationship. He was always thinking of Krishna, oh, Krishna might come and kill me. So before that, I should somehow or other kill him. So that thinking is pratikul. So then the definition of uttama bhakti is also given in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And that says, anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadinavrutam anukulena krishnanu shilanam bhakti uttama. So which takes the bhakti to higher level. And that uttama or the best bhakti is anya abhilashita shunyam. So that abhilasha means I have some desire. So the uttama bhakti is anya means other than Krishna's service, other than pleasure of Krishna, abhilashita shunyam. I have no other desire. Anna, there is no other desire than satisfying Krishna. Anya abhilashita shunyam. Jnana karma adi. Jnana and karma adi anavrutam, which is also free from jnana and karma. Jnana means somebody may become devotee so that they want to speculate and they want to think of different things. Oh, mental concoction, all the Vedanta Sutra, bring philosophy and all that stuff. So that is jnana. And karma, somebody may be engaged in some karma so that they want to enjoy fruits or other things. So free from all that kinds of jnana and karma. Jnana karmadi anavrutam. It's also free from even that contamination. And anukulena krishnanu shilanam. Anukul, which is favorable, not pratikul like Kamsa was thinking. Kamsa was thinking of Krishna, but in a pratikul way. But a devotee always thinks of Krishna in anukul way, in a favorable way. How I can do something that Krishna will be pleased. All the gopis in Vrindavan were always thinking how they can please Krishna, how they can make him happy. Same thing about Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Mata, Radhā-Rañjana. These are all highest class of devotees. So they are always thinking how I can make things so that Krishna is pleased. That's the only goal of life. So anukulasya Krishna anushilanam, and anushilanam also following the instructions given by Krishna in a favorable way. So Krishna is giving instruction. He's telling so many times here in this chapter. In this chapter only he is saying, become mad-bhakto, patram pushpam phalam toyam, yo me bhaktya prayachati, yat karoshi yadashnasi. So many verses he said in so many different ways that become my devotee, serve me, offer everything to me. So that is the favorable following, anushilanam, of Krishna's instructions. And that is called bhakti uttama. Uttama means udgatatama, that we talked about earlier. That is the highest form of bhakti. That is uttama bhakti. And that's what Krishna is giving us here. So that this is the epitome of this chapter, and that's the concluding verse, that think of me, always worship me, and then you will come back to me. And actually, let's go to quickly refer to the 18th chapter and see this verse as it appears again as a concluding verses. 65th verse. So here he says again, same thing. Man-manā bhava mad-bhakto mad-yājī mam namaskuru. Mame evaiṣyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me. You will come back to me. And this is truth. I am telling you, Arjuna, again. And I am giving you, I am declaring this. Why? You are priyosi me. You are very dear to me. It's like a very loving father. Please, I have told you this, but please do this, because this is for your good. And actually a verse before this, he says that, again the same thing. Sarva guhyatamam bhuya, shruno me paramam vacha. Now I have given you something that is very secretive, but out of all the secrets, I am going to tell you the most confidential thing. Sarva guhyatamam bhuya, shruno me paramam vacha. That is the supreme thing I am going to tell you. Ishta asi, that is for your benefit. Ishta. Because you are very dear to me and you are my, it is favorable to me. Drudham iti vakshasimite hitam. I am telling you now, and please listen carefully now. And then he goes to, repeats the same verse again. What is that? Man-manā bhava mad-bhakto mad-yājī mam namaskuru. Mame evaiṣyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me. So these two verses, 65th and 66th again, are the most confidential knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Give up all the concocted religions, whatever you have brought up with. Sarva dharman, whatever religious principles, whatever dharma you have brought up, parityajya, give up all those. Mam ekam sharanam vraja. Only surrender unto me. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo. I will free you from all the sinful reactions. Mokshayishyami, I'll give you moksha. Ma shucha, do not fear. So this is the verse that Krishna repeats, and then he tells that whatever I told you so far, or whatever so many religions or dharma you have concocted with, just give up everything. Just surrender unto me. You have to do only one thing. Take up to my devotional service, surrender unto me. I will free you from all the sinful reactions, guaranteed. Ma shucha, do not fear. So that's the verse what we discussed today, 934. So we'll take some reflections. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
रिफ्रेश रिकॅप होता. म्हणजे नवा चॅप्टर आपण याच्या आधी पण याच्यावरती आपण बोललो होतो त्याला, की भक्ती योगावरती बोललो होतो त्याला. त्यानंतर आपल्याला ही कन्सेप्ट क्लिअर नव्हती तिथं त्याला, की डेमी गॉड आणि सुपर गॉडहेड कन्सेप्ट काय आहे तिथं त्याला ते पण क्लिअर झालं त्याला. आणि दुसरी गोष्ट म्हणजे भक्तीमध्ये राहणे, त्यानंतर कृष्ण चिंतनामध्ये चिंतन कीर्तन दोन्ही आपण जे म्हणतो तिथं त्याला त्याच्यामध्ये राहणे त्याला. आणि शेवटी ते आपलं फायनल डेस्टिनेशन आहे याची जाणीव ठेवून त्या विचारांमध्ये तिथं त्याला किंवा त्या भावामध्ये राहणं तिथं त्याला. हे रिकॅप झाला माझ्यासाठी.
Okay, good. Yeah. Thank you, Sunil Prabhu. And that was the goal actually, because we are concluding this chapter, so it made more sense to just quickly recap whole thing. Thank you. Yes, any other additional thoughts, Prabhuji's? Yes, Chandrakant Prabhu, want to share something?
Nothing, Prabhuji.
Okay, so I think we'll stop here today then.